Now, yesterday I met with Carlos Aguirre, co-director of the documentary Plot for Peace. Hello, I'm Antoinette Holligan and I'm here with Carlos Aguirre, who is the co-director and editor of the documentary Plot for Peace. Plot for Peace is a political thriller that tells the story of Jean-Yves Olivier, alias Monsieur Jacques, one of the key players who brought about regional peace and the end of racial discrimination in South Africa. The documentary reveals a whole new angle on the end of apartheid.
Never said one word about his contribution.
The documentary is made around 30 years after apartheid. Why make it now?
If you think of our characters, not only Jean-Yves Olivier, but most of the other people involved, they are people whose success, professional success, is very much related to their discretion. So if Jean-Yves Olivier had been trying to talk to the media or become a public figure, the politicians would have not trusted him in this kind of mediation work that he did. If we had asked many of them 25 years ago, this is people that are working for secret services, for, or even, officials in the diplomacy. They cannot speak openly as they did in this movie when they're still working for a country, or they cannot talk about people who are still active because it's not safe for them. So now it was safe to talk about it. Also, the outcome is obviously positive for all. Maybe the only bad guys in the movie are not around anymore and they lost, and they're if we try to look for a bad guy in the movie, that would be P.W. Botha, maybe.
Would you have shown the film to Mandela if he was still alive?
Yes, of course.
What would you have hoped his reaction would have been?
I think he would have, he was, obviously, when he was released, he wasn't aware of the existence of Jean-Yves. I think the reaction has been so good so far that I would have expected, him to be really interested in the story, and in a way it's the part of the story that he didn't see, so I think it would have been very interesting for him to discover all these details behind the story that everybody was trying to help him, and obviously the amount of information that he would get from the outside was very little or none.
Do you think that it can be applied today in any situations such as Central African Republic, Sudan, South Sudan, Ukraine?
Yes, of course. Not only it can be applied, but it is being applied, and I'm sure behind every conflict that is taking place nowadays, there are many people like Jean-Yves trying to help and trying to find a solution parallel to the official one, and trying to help the diplomats and politicians find a quicker way to solve their conflicts, definitely. Jean-Yves himself has been involved in many other conflicts around the world. Some of them you will be able to read in his memoirs, which have been published in France, and they will be published in English soon. But definitely there are so many people doing the same work as Jean-Yves, but it takes being very stubborn, like Jean-Yves, and very constant, but also being very lucky. So probably if Jean-Yves hadn't been so stubborn and so lucky, we just wouldn't be telling his story.
Plot for Peace, the secret story of Monsieur Jacques, will be released in the UK on the 14th of March.